For drawing 6.2, you're going to be taking this part here and making a full section out of it. So we're going to cut it from the top to the very bottom. Basically, when we cut it, what we're left over with is this, and then we need to be able to show that as a section view on drawing sheet 6.2. So you take a look, here's our little 3D model in the corner. Here is the front view of this object. Here is the top view of the object. Here is a miter line to help you out. You're going to be projecting some lines from the front view over to the right. And you'll be projecting some lines from the top view over and down. Now, just as a caution to you, please don't project every single quadrant on every single circle and arc to the right. If you do that as your first step, you're going to wind up with a giant checkerboard over here. You're going to make a giant mess. So what you want to do is you want to be selective. Think about the overall shape, the rough shape of what this thing looks like, and project over only the points that will give you that rough shape, the overall height. And then this part here is a bump out, right? It's like a pipe that's been welded on to that teardrop shaped flange. Well, project the top of the pipe and the bottom of the pipe out, along with the top and the bottom of that base plate. Okay, when you get the basic shape of this object, you're in a much better position to start bringing over some of the details, like the holes going through the thin part, and the hole going into the pipe. And then we see there's a smaller hole in the back there going through that thinner part. Make sure all the corners in this top view get projected over and down so you know how deep the elements in that side view are going to be. So the one thing we don't have is a cutting plane line. Make sure you add a cutting plane line and draw correctly. Dark, 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 heavy line using the pattern. 90-degree bends at the end and pointing in the direction that we're going to be looking after the imaginary cut is performed. Drawing 6.3 is a half section. We've got a cylindrical tube formed as part of this flange plate here. It's all one part though. The hole going through here, we see it's a small hole in the top, then it gets wider. So it's two different diameters. A big diameter just below the top surface, small diameter coming out of the pipe, and then here's our flange with these bolt holes going through it. So the idea is I want to create a half section. So to create that, you're going to be projecting over from the top down. You'll be projecting from the side over. And then keep in mind, only half of the view will be in section. The other half will just be what it looks like on the outside. There are hidden lines over here. There's nothing wrong with them over here, but remember, hidden lines do not go on a section drawing. Here's our drawing 6.4. It is an offset section. There are two countersunk holes and then two straight through holes. And the idea is I want to draw a front view that shows this part as an offset section. So again, there's a lot of stuff happening here. Rather than bringing down every quadrant on every circle, in every corner. Just bring over the main points, the principal corners that will give you the overall shape of this thing. Bring them down from the top, bring them over from the right, and then rough in the shape of that front view. When you've got it all roughed in, then you can start bringing down the holes and the countersinks, and then the through hole that goes with the countersink. And countersink just means a hole with a little bevel at the top, a chamfer at the top. So if you look over here, this is what they look like when they're drawn with hidden lines. When you make yours, they will look exactly like this, except they won't be hidden. They'll be with solid lines. Okay, but same 45-degree angle, same depth, just bring the points over, and then you can't go wrong. And then a little reminder that we are not really cutting the part open, right? So this corner here, this corner here, this corner here, they will not appear as edges in your offset section because nothing's being cut. Okay? And if you can remember that, guess what? You are smarter than all of the 3D CAD modeling software out there. There's some very expensive, very cool, amazing 3D CAD software out there that can't do this correctly. It will put a corner every time you do an offset on your view that you're making. And hopefully someone figures out how to fix that someday, because that's just annoying. Okay, so this is our discussion on section views. Why we use them, when we use them, 3 different types, and then how to execute them using your drawing tools, along with how to sketch them like we did earlier.